Hello everybody and welcome back to Vampirejam. Today is really not a good day for me to be recording, so for the most part this video is gonna be focusing on Magical Soldier of the Night as I am back to doing web-based entries. I am currently playing the music myself. It's just your regular tavern music. Seems like it would be fitting. I don't know how fitting it's gonna be, but we'll see. He came to you in a night dream. A monster's terrorizing the city. He said, and only a pure maiden can become a magical girl and save us. He promised great power and opened a new world to you. That was 10 years ago. Oh my, this really scrolls. You don't know when he watches your night fights, but he does. It has to look perfect. You still don't know his name, only the surname, Toreador. He's foreign. Your name is Tabitha, and today you feel like... Ooh, that's a lot of choices. I am gonna go with long yellow evening flower dress. If this was actual me, anything but funeral wear. The funeral wear is like the only acceptable style, I'm sorry. Alternatively, romantic vampire in black. Funeral home owner. Poet from a Dickens novel. Because that was actually something that I've gotten off another person when I walked outside once. They were like, oh wow, that coat, it looks perfect with the environment. It looks like you're from a Dickens novel. But no, let's go with long yellow evening flower dress. Long yellow evening flower dress. Okay, for day walks, but just not enough for the nights. How about pink dress with three underskirts, white blouse with ruffles and 3-inch heels? That's such an extra. He sends you a message with an address, no details. It's the other side of the city, but you quickly find the ride. You don't know much about the cars, but you can stomach the trip in an old blue Prius. Sis, you can't trust me, right? Because the driver's your sister Natalie, older by 2 years. You know I've seen your nasty bruise on Monday. It's not your secret, sis. I am just the magical fighter. In pink. That scroll is like really bad because it tends to miss-scroll and everything. I trust you, but I can't tell. So you don't. It's not my secret, okay? She gives you a side-eye. You ride in silence for a while. The car enters a dark parking lot near an abandoned mall. There is a loud car party there. Natalie parks and turns to you. How are you going back then? Should I wait for you to finish whatever you're doing? No, I'll call a taxi. See? You show the phone in your secret skirt pocket, between the needle net for quick repairs and a bandage tape, also for quick repairs. Natalie sighs. Take care, sis. Thanks, Nat. See you at home. And you're off to see some sad old guys loudly arguing about their cars. You feel a faint scent of something evil nearby. You look like a skinny teenager among some tall white dudes. I will follow the scent. You can't track it. You just know it's near. Hey, we're starting in a 3. The guys suddenly stop arguing. Okay, I will tap one of the guys on the shoulder then. Excuse me. Get lost, kid. Hey, we're starting in a 3. The guy suddenly stops arguing. You wander around. Why did you send you here? There's a crowd now, and you see a tall guy in a motorcycle helmet shouting, his voice loud and clear. To the end of the street and back here. Go. The feeling of wrongness rises in you. The lot is filled with roar of the cars speeding away. The crowd cheers. You see a figure across the street jumping 3 stories right on top of an office building. That is your target. I will jump straight to the roof. You're a good acrobat, but not pure magic. You can barely jump 2 stories, and here's 3. I will climb the building. The scroll is very disorientating because it doesn't actually account for how far up I am. You do have to catch the guy quickly. You look at your mace. It is strapped to your hip. It's solid iron. 30-centimeter handle with leather grip. 4 ridged head. The ridges look like butterfly wings. And there's a pair of white bird wings on the pommel. Weighs about 7 kilos it does, but it's light in your hands. You hit the wall with the pommel. Sturdy wings leave a nice impression in the render, just right to use as a handhold. You make another one near. It's a quick climb to the roof, and here is your guy. He's hunched over a body of some old man. You hear the slurping sounds. He's still drinking blood from the body. Good, that means the old man is still alive. Either that or he likes to drink from corpses. Pose and start a full speech. You take a step, do a twirl, and shout, I am the car crash of the century! I am the spirit of the last customer! I am pretty soldier of the night! Then you pose with your mace, and now you feel truly confident, and you get a heavy fist to the stomach. You lower your hand, snagging the mace on his hand. He screeches and jumps back. He screams. And I have to paraphrase everything except the pronouns here. Who the hell are you, crazy woman, grabbing my precious flesh with your dirty hot hands? I will calmly explain to you what you're doing wrong. You're killing this man. Leave and never try this again. He's not a man, he's a snack. You don't sell this kind on gas stations. Barbarian! You're the second course if you take a step further. You take a look at him. Tall, looks your age, but somehow even cockier than other guys your age. Dark jacket and a t-shirt with a faded print of Out of Control 2007. Blue jeans he didn't wash for several weeks. The jacket sleeve is about to fall off its amateur stitches. Let me just say that I am enjoying this far more than I should be right now. It's like... It's actually well written, but because of the ridiculousness of writing it as a magical girl genre, it comes off as a bit of a fanfic, but not in a bad way. Like, it's like if you went to a fanfic site and you read a fanfic. You know? I'm just gonna leave it. I'm kinda enjoying it. Push him to the end of the roof. I just wish that it didn't scroll, honestly. Strictly speaking, he's unarmed. You throw several slashes at him. He easily evades, but you push him to the end of the roof. Then he has nowhere to go. Crack. Ah! You plant a smoking butterfly wing on his cheek. You raise the hand to hit again, but he suddenly runs faster than you see, and you hear a voice from behind. Stupid, useless human! And he shoves you forward. Embrace the earth! Not how you imagined it, but your life didn't provide you with the best choices. You feel the wind whooshing past, and then something black appears from below, lifts you and pulls you to the side. and all you can see is dirty asphalt. You slowly stand up to see a tall, gangly man in motorcycle helmet. He was with the street racers before, wasn't he? Apologies for this rough jump. Are you okay, miss? His voice is very different now. It's coming quietly from inside the helmet, and he has a strange accent. You can see a reflection in the black helmet. Plain awful. Better than I could be, and I'm grateful for that, but who are you? Just a friend. I expected your patron, though. If you see him, tell Jim wanted makeup again. You wanted to meet with him just to ask for that? No, he just knows people who can really work it. I have a sensitive skin. He gestures at the helmet. But I must retreat. The young man who did this to you shouldn't see me here. And he's off into the night. Weird. Anyway, you're standing behind them all now, a bit shaken, but that's fine. This is your second chance. I will do the proper intimidation ritual, and I hope that it has butterflies. You walk out of the mall's shadow. The man on the roof in your plain sight. He's not afraid of you yet. Your feeding became a real menace. Darn! Here's a surgeon for your appetite. Kick! Fear me, and my prayer for my name is Split, the pretty soldier of the night. Pose! There! Now he should be terrified. Let's look at the roof. You searched for him, but the roof is empty now. Did he just leave? Well, it would make your job easier, but they're too arrogant for that. Hello, pretty. The words are slimy and cold, like something in a dark cellar that falls on your neck and you hope it's just a loose gemstone from your headpiece. It's never a stone with some glue residue. You slowly turn around and see the familiar Out of Control 2007 print. The man has shine in his eyes. He's giddy after a good meal. You're ready to kick and scrape him. On the other hand, he's also ready to wring your neck. My lord knows where you are. What's that supposed to mean? He told me where to find you. This is our city. I don't care. It's big for everyone. You're a loud neighbor. File a complaint. You know where I am. I'm your eviction officer. Bite me, girl. I will ask him about the jacket. Why not? You're about to lose your sleeve. You dare to threaten me? No, your right sleeve is literally on its last stitch. Don't point on me. I can rip you to shreds. Then don't wave your arms like that. You can't buy a new jacket? You rummage in your skirt and show him the needle kit. What the? I'm a seamstress. Pink stitches on black, very fashionable kind of. I'll kill you. And ruin your favorite thing in the process? Do you want this? He sighs and slowly takes it off. Okay, so here's the sleeve and the gash in the back and the other one, and that was probably me. Now find me somewhere to sit on. Me? Well, you're the one who's all powerful and mighty and took this mall for his fortress. I can't do it standing up. We're in the middle of the parking lot. Fine. You sit on the dirty asphalt. Not the worst that could happen today, really. Still could happen. Good, you finish that and I'll let you go free. Let me go free? You're the one who's on my territory here. Didn't see a sign up front? You're new at this, aren't you? No. Second stitch done. I can point you to people who can give you a job. Oh yeah, like, your job is harassing me. Heard it all before. Come to work for Camarilla, be a good guy. I don't know what you're talking about. I meant wagon loaders. The railway station pays double for night shifts. How do you know that? A friend of a friend works there. I fix his pants. And the back is done. Okay, what if I say yes? Yes, I have nowhere to feed and I'm slumming and I didn't even finish off that guy, so he's going to be in the funny papers tomorrow. What do? You come with me. Ouch, it's him. He was there and he watched. Time to panic. But first, I have to say you're the most gracious person, dear. He glides to you. His walk, even and perfect as always, it's an old ritual. You kneel. Okay, first of all, it would really help if there was like a prefix of who is who, because from time to time I'm mixing up whose text I'm reading. Now there's 3 people on the scene. And I like how we have decided to beat this guy with sewing. I approve. State your pride. I am proud to be the best, my lord. This man is yours, but I'm not. I never give you any presents, don't I? Here, take this. He throws you something small and you greedily catch it. Your fingers trace his fingerprints like you're touching his hands. I'm sure the city will be safe tonight. You're still kneeling before him. He extends his hand and touches your chin. Drink and get out. His palm is bleeding. You lap at his blood, trying not to spill a drop on your clothes. You skip on the way out, throwing a last glance at the scene. He stands before the cocky killer. You know the 2007 guy will be fine and out of city by tomorrow, now that the Lord is here. The taxi ride is short. Ride, I think you meant. Your mom and sister Natalie say nothing about your unsightful appearance. It's not your first time. And you spend the night sleeping with his locket tied in your arms. The end. Okay, what a story. I kind of wish that it was longer, honestly. But what a story. It's enjoyable. Of all things, it is enjoyable, and I have never seen the magical girl genre being taken as being a ghoul of a vampire, so it's pretty imaginative. The ways to improve it, don't make it auto-scroll if you can, because I have to figure out where you left it off because it actually scrolls past it. It could do with letters at the front of the speech so that I know who is saying what. Because it is not very clear. When there's 2 people, you kind of expect the dialogue to go person A, person B, person A, person B. This isn't always the case, and if the person C joins, you're just completely confused. So you're figuring out who is who retroactively, which is not the best. Other than that, I'm pleasantly surprised. This was honestly nice. Very pink. But hey, you did a good job. Good job, author. Very imaginative. Never thought of that myself. Nor did I expect anyone else to think to merge the magical girl genre and World of Darkness. Maybe more people should. Now, because this has only taken my 16 minutes, let me see what else I can do. Yay! It has sound! Okay, let's try Fragile Year 1. It is a visual novel on the first year as a vampire. In life, or at least my old life, things had not been good. I moved to Montreal to escape the boredom of small-town life without bothering to finish high school. Where I came from was the kind of pointless little place you might see a sign for on the highway. For a moment, you might even wonder who lived there, but you never stopped to find out. This is actually comfortable reading speed. Montreal had seemed so exciting and exotic a city where I could be myself and let my artistic passion flourish. I ran out of money in the first month. I like how it's scrolling. Like, this is the first time I'm seeing visual novel do a scrolling. I took a crappy job after crappy job just to make ends meet. After 2 years of living with roommates in the shitty apartment, one of them stole everything they could while the rest of us were out celebrating my 18th birthday. Had just planned to just get drunk and laid. Losing what little I had was not in the cards. That's so shiny. It's a very pretty picture. But life just likes to give you a kick from time to time, even if you're already down. After that, I moved out. Found a one-room apartment that was more than double what I was paying before, but I couldn't bring myself to trust again after being robbed. On my own, I decided to put everything into my art. I painted haunting abstract pieces and sold them in the rain for whatever I could. Tried singing. The less said about that, the better. Even managed a modest acting debut in a series of black box theater shows. They didn't pay anything, sadly. Despite all the compliments I got and the ease in which I could fall into any role, it never felt right. None of the things I was passionate about paid the bills, sadly. No, month after month, staring at the empty bank account, I always end up showcasing my real artistic talent for $200 an hour. It was an acting gig in a way. Oh no. We resorted to that, didn't we? I played the part they wanted, becoming what they wanted me to be, and at least for a little while I wasn't alone anymore. Until the night I met my sire. I'm not sure why my sire chose me. How about good personal introspection? Oh, we get to select an avatar. Okay, so far, wow. Backstory for a character. You have to remember that World of Darkness takes place in a universe very similar to our own. So it hits a bit different than, let's say, D&D would. To not finish high school and move to a different city as a runaway, than to still have the guts to take job after job and still try to make it, to move out, to live on your own on your 18th birthday, and to even take up sex work to make ends meet. It takes a lot of character strength. It does. That's just determination without giving up, and so many people do not have that at all. So this character goes, hey, I don't know why my sire chose me. I know. I'm just gonna go with the blonde, long-haired guy as our sire. And it was a he-him. His fangs pierced my skin, and for a moment I felt pain, then ecstasy. I also loved the scrolling bit. Things began to fade into cold darkness until I tasted that sweet vitae on my lips. It poured through me from my mouth down to my littlest toe. hollowing out the old me and replacing the emptiness with a burning hunger. After the darkness took hold, there was nothing. Then I could feel the ground closed in around me. I'm not sure how long I was buried in the earth, but I could feel a warmth beside me the whole time. It became my everything. I'm sorry, did the dude turn you and then bury you with him because he couldn't get a hotel room or something? It was like being cradled by my own personal son. I held on to it with my all and let its heart radiate through me and returning it with devotion. Then came sounds. They were familiar and yet not. I could hear things being dragged through the dirt, tiny feet dancing along the ground, and even a low electrical hum. Slowly, my mind began to understand what I was hearing, and my awareness grew to a point that I could sense every insect and worm around me. Even the subtle rush as water moved along the pipes nearby. A newfound strength coursed through my body, and the heightened senses had only been the beginning. I could feel my muscles pulsing with power, my nerves alight as if for the first time. A primal part of me knew that my death had come to an end and it was time for my rebirth. I clawed through the dirt, hungry, eager to feel the air on my skin and breathe clean air once again. That was breath you won't breathe. I emerged from the flower bed, shedding my old life like a serpent discards its skin. The night air was all around me, the stars hidden but gleaming just beyond the painted glass walls. You know, this is such a beautiful and poetic way of seeing the whole thing. Once again, she's like, I don't know why I was chosen. It's like, girl, how about maturity and self-awareness? Because normally people would freak out. Not freaking out at all is quite a sign of character, together with everything else that she has so far accomplished in this visual novel. The world, both familiar and strange, greeted me. To my second life, the video game, and I felt... You know what? Look, let's go with free. It's a nice word. Standing in the unfamiliar garden is where my new life began. I don't know who got the images or where you got them from, but they're beautiful as well. My sire emerged shortly after I did and looked at me with an unfathomable gaze. Yeah, he was underneath the dirt with me. I realized for the first time that he possessed countless lifetimes of wisdom and experience. His age but a mask to disarm and conceal his true intentions. It was a look that comes only with experiences far beyond his visible age. I'm not sure how old my sire was. It was one of the many things that he never shared with me. First night we spent together was all too brief. Be sure at time to learn all I needed or have even a fraction of my questions answered. All I knew was that I wanted his approval. He opened his wrist, offering it to me. And I knew that simple, foolish little Penny had been acknowledgeable for what felt like the first time. Acknowledged. I think you want a D at the end of that. The fact that this was an act of reverence and surrender on my part were lost on me. At the time, it seemed a gesture of care and love. Sire, discard fear, throw away doubt and insecurity, and know that you have been given the greatest gift a kind can receive. You have been given the chance to become a true Cainite. All that you have seen in films and heard in stories is true, yet incredibly wrong. That is at its core the duality of life of Cainite. You will battle with your dual nature at all times. The beast claws at you from within, trying to claim dominance over the ever-lingering humanity. I am too engaged in this woman's tragedy because she is written as somebody... Honestly... There's some innocence in her previous actions, like wanted to get drunk and laid. That's pretty youthful, but the way that this visual novel is worded makes me question what kind of person the author is, because this is a portrayal of a fairly mature individual, despite the fact that they're young in the visual novel. The kind of people that I deal with, day in, day out, the majority of them lack it in all stages of their lifetime. So to see something like this written in a visual novel as a person makes me think that if this person was a real person, I would have wanted to be their friend and help them out. Am I dead? Penny is dead. You exist now in a liminal state. You will become what I need you to be and shed all vestige of your old life, or you will fail and shed your existence for good, which depends entirely onto you. I don't understand. You made me, changed me. Am I not good enough? Penny is not good enough, but fragile will be. That is your new existence. Right now, you're much more like a porcelain doll. Beautiful to behold, comforting and familiar, but empty and hollow. But I will see you filled and molded into something perfect. Who are you? Fragile. Good, my child. Be brave. Be strong. I know that I chose you, and I choose few. Your capabilities far exceeds what you see in yourself. In time, you too will recognize your own strength. You want 2 with 2 O's there. No one has ever believed in me before. This is all too much too fast. 2, you want the 2 with 2 2's. 2 O's, I mean, not with 2 2's. 2 I don't even know why you created me. Hush, child. This is a conversation far from now. Let me be plain, you're not my primary concern. I have much to do and little time to spend on you. Once I leave here tonight, you will not see me again for a long time. He handed me a phone and a small slim book filled with symbols and formulas. This is your cipher. Memorize and destroy it. Your living expenses will be provided from you from now on. You need not fear the street or death ever again as long as you serve me. When I contact you, the message will always end with a day code. This is how you will know the message comes from me. Cypher's day codes, I don't get it. I thought I would be with you, that I was yours now. You are mine for now and for always. No, this is the deepest part of you. While we will seldom be together, know that you are my child. Your time will mostly be your own, but know that when I issue an order, it will be carried out as commanded, no matter if it makes sense or not. At times the tasks might seem harsh and cruel. Your old notions of morality and humanity will fade in time as you grow used to the world, more bloodthirsty and violent than you can imagine. You need to become those things as well as to survive surrounded by your enemies. Enemies? Like the vampire hunter Van Helsing from that old movie? The Helsing Foundation is many tentacled beast. It stretches through many corridors of power and is part of Second Inquisition, but you must also be wary of other Cainites. It was then that my sire explained all about various antiquated facets of vampire society. The Camarol were a decadent and rotten organization of vampires, a warning power and de facto controller of vampire society. Its ancient traditions and rigid hierarchies served only to protect its leaders. The Camarilla were obsessed with the notion of how kindred society should behave. The Anarch were loudmouths and rabble. They were the disenchanted youth and overprivileged kids, overly entitled kindred who complained that not enough is handed to them. They were rebels and revolutionaries. What they wanted, even the Anarch didn't know. As long as it wasn't dictated by the Camarilla, that was enough for most of its members. The Sabbat, what can be said about them? They should have held this world in the palm of their hand. Instead, they allowed viciousness and madness to poison them. They became crazed by their religious beliefs and their lust for blood. They poured onto the battlefields of Gehenna like a locust, lost to the hunger and madness. But I was special as I was my master. We belonged to none of those. We were Penumbra. The Penumbra are Cainites in the truest sense. Once we were part of the Sabbat Black Hand until the truth of the world was revealed to us. Since then, the Penumbra has grown steadily out of the husk of the Sabbat as the old powers collapsed. We had to move slowly and carefully lest our allegiance to be discovered and we meet the true death. But one day we will be everywhere and nowhere. The Penumbra is a joke, a rumor, a whisper in the night. The first burning rays of the sun when a vampire goes looking in the wrong place. Sounds like Illuminati, or just vampire Illuminati. I talked with my sire about many things that night until the first line of dawn began to appear on the horizon. He encouraged me to watch the sun for as long as I could stand it, for this would be the last dawn. I would never again walk through the sun. The moon was from now until my last night, my mistress. With all the cleverness of a high school astronomy student, I pointed out that moonlight is just reflected sunlight. My sire just let out a hearty laugh and just said that that was just part of hypocrisies of our nature. A UV lamp or sunlight reflected off a mirror will burn, but a mirror in the heavens does nothing. I was once again alone, inside the exact same apartment as everybody ever. Same crappy apartment, same crappy possessions, except now one window was covered. Had been dropped off like a parcel and told simply to stay put and avoid others of our kind unless told otherwise. My sire said he would contact me as we had agreed and that it might be months or years before I saw them again. I cried. I cried more than I ever had. More than I thought I could. They were tears of blood that only left me hungry. I wanted my sire to be with them more than anything. If me being self-reliant was what it took to see them again, then that is what I would do. Alone again, I remembered how my sire handed me that there would be many tests in my new life. That failure and success were not simple binary concepts. The results were what mattered. Could I be found wanting, then I would rejoin the earth. will memorize the cipher and join a puzzle club. Even with my newfound focus and dedication, the nights were still long and lonely. I will challenge myself to take 3 courses I didn't think I was smart enough for. It was day 47 when I heard from my sire again. Shortly after dawn, the text from them arrived from an unknown number. The message was short and simple. St. Laurent Boulevard and Rue Roy, 8 p.m. Your contact is kindred named Vittorio. Summer disco, fairy shoes. I like how there's an actual, game difficulty selection in the visual novel. It took a couple of minutes, but I managed to confirm the code. The place of the meeting was towards the end of the club district. A simple little intersection with a couple bars and restaurants and one large nightclub. It felt exciting to be meeting another of my kind. Despite my sire's warning, I was hungry to learn more about who and what we were. But that enthusiasm began to fade as I stood there waiting for the stranger. The minutes slipped by slowly, until an hour had passed and still there was no sign of Vittorio. I was about to turn and leave, wondering if I had messed up or he had, when a thought dawned on me. What if Vittorio was already here? What if he was out there somewhere watching and waiting to see if I would give up or find him? Was this the start of the little challenges and tasks my sire had planned for me? I will stop and think about my situation. Woo! Successes! I had to assume that Vittorio was there watching me, which meant he wanted me to be able to identify him. If that was a test, then whoever he was wouldn't be obvious. I will look over my surroundings. 1 success. Well, that's more than none. The nearby alley was light, well enough to see a homeless man sitting there coughing. A woman drinking by herself keeps checking out the club. I will watch the passerbys for a sign. No! I will wander around and see who I reach. The couple at the cafe checked me out when I walked by. The drunk woman kept eyeing me suspiciously whenever I would get near the bouncer. What about the woman? What? Do you know Vittorio? Is that what he told you his name is? He thinks being a bouncer gives him the freedom to sleep with anyone that flirts with him. He pretends he can't see me, but I know you can. You bastard! I'm not leaving until I know you've been seeing behind my back. I should go. Yeah, you should. Hello, homeless man? The man let out a haggard, worn cough and reached out a hand. I don't have any change, I'm afraid. Can't you spare some money so I can buy a sandwich? I really can't. What about the couple? Hey dear, we couldn't help but notice you standing all by yourself and it seems such a shame. Why don't you join us? I'm actually waiting for a friend. Are you sure? We can be very friendly and open if you give us a chance. Yeah, we promise we don't bite, unless you're into that, of course. I think you have the wrong girl, not that I'm not flattered. You're still welcome to wait with us until your friend shows up. I need to go, but thanks anyway. What about the bouncer? Vittorio? Never heard of him. Cover is $20, cocktails are half off before then. I think I'll try somewhere else. Well, I have no choice but to go back home. Tired, hungry, and defeated, I decided there was nothing left for me but to give up and go home. I glanced back one more time at the people on the corner in hopes of some sign before trudging slowly past the alley on my way home. Moments later, shadows erupted from the darkness enveloping me, dragging me into the alley. Oh boy. In the darkness, a single burning flame revealed Vittorio. He's a bit flat. like he's bit... that angled, I'm 2D? Hello? Disappointing, Miss Fragile. I'm not surprised you could not find me, but I had hoped you'd be better than this. I am Vittorio, the one you're seeking. He spoke French fluently, but with a heavy, unfamiliar accent, not European. Maybe from the States of the Caribbean? Do you speak French down south? Will my sire be joining us? He looked at me with surprise, sadness, pity. No, child, no, he won't be. Let your mind be at peace and worry not. You are a small part of a very large game being played out, but take solace in knowing that you are important to your sire. Whether you can see him or not, know that their watchful eye is on you. I miss him so much. I have had this empty, gnawing hungry in me since he left. I just can't shake. I was worried about this. You had not fed since you were changed, have you? No, I thought he would return to feed me. God fucking damn it, girl! You just survived 50 days without feeding. That's impressive. It seems I must teach you far more than I had planned, little fledgling. If you cannot even hunt on your own. Blood is what forms and sustains us. Each kind has their own taste and flavor, their emotions providing a wonderful rush of momentary glory. You might feel like the most beautiful woman alive or strong enough to punch through a wall after tasting the right person. I started to lick my lips and salivate at the thought. It won't turn them into a vampire or zombie, right? Because it did in that film with the Daywalker vampire. You know, the one with the guy that had a sword? No, those things require special rituals and preparation. A simple sip or kiss will do a kind no lasting harm, although the weaker ones can find it addictive. Your first time can be messy, so let us begin the lesson I had intended first. I will teach you to feed when we have more darkness to work with. So hungry though. You must be master if you're hungry. Never let it control you. Vittorio, she has been very impressive at being master of her own hunger, considering that she hasn't fed for over a month. For now, I will begin the first lesson in how to remain unseen. I did not always look as I do now. For over a century, I shambled through the night like a rotting corpse, my flesh torn and ragged. The less said of the smell, the better. Shadows became my home. They were not just a way to hide, they were also part of me, and through them I gained power and influence. You were a zombie? Only in appearance. No, I came from a once cursed bloodline, but now the curse is gone, and I look as I did in life, but still the shadows are mine to command. That just sounds like the Semedi Hekata thing. When Semedi joined Hekata, I'm actually wondering how would that work? Like, surely the ones that are already rotten don't just unrot. As you meet other kindred, it will make more sense. You will find that the bloodlines all have their own quirks. Bloodlines? Those are the Camarilla clans? So you do know something. But enough distractions, back to your lesson. Your task is simple. You simply need to stand outside of that club and notice. You want me to hide? If you like. There are many ways to be unseen. Do not be ashamed if you fail. Expect you will fail many times before you succeed. When you can't stand there until after it closes without being approached, you will be ready to move on. Return to me when you fail and I will see you fed. Not sure what else to do, I just stood near the club trying my best not to be seen. After about an hour, I was feeling more confident, but I was starting to get looks from some people nearby. Had a bright idea to mix things up, so I pulled out my phone and started pacing and yelling. After about 20 minutes, a couple of young guys invited me to grab a drink with them at the club. Quickly I refused and walked off defeated. Now that one lesson is over, it is time to begin the next. You must now learn how to feed yourself, child. I like the idea of skill checks. This is interesting. Killing your prey is always a choice. Never let others tell you the beast made them. You chose to kill or not to. Death is sweet and succulent, but it is an acquired taste. You kill your prey? I don't think I could do that. How you feed is on whom is a personal choice. In time you will find what you prefer. For me, I have long been able to sense the finger of death on the mortal. They give a subtle fragrance of coming loose. It is on those to whom death will soon come that I prefer to drink my fill of. Take the homeless man over there. He is sickly and starved. The time he has left is short. We could hasten it a long night, and none would be wiser. If you prefer, the couple at the cafe reek of lust. You're eagerly hoping to indulge their kinkier side tonight with a stranger, and then there is an angry woman at the bar. She radiates hate and despair and has become increasingly intoxicated as the night has gone on. Who will you pick? You can sort of tell when somebody is going to die. I know energetics that work in care homes, and children and old people give off very similar energy, which is like they're shedding way too much. I'll go for the couple. They were flattered when I sat down. Joking and playful. We shared a bottle of wine and chatted about them and me. The wine had little to no taste, but they seemed to enjoy it. I decided to try my luck and gently touched their hands or knees when I could, getting increasingly flirty and impressed by how sophisticated and mature they were. I was offended when they asked the price, but I guess I shouldn't have been surprised even if I was hurt. Victoria had warned me about this, but said to go with it. So I named what I knew was more than fair, and they agreed. Half an hour later, we were at their place, locked in an amorous embrace. I bit into her first as she squealed in pleasure. Drinking in her lust made me giddy like I had just taken the best drug ever. I moved to him next to let him enjoy the fun. It was just as juicy, but with heavier notes. 4 days later, I heard from my sire again. Madame Rose, the Avente Dance Studio, 6 p.m. Winter always wins. Arrived at the Avente Dance Studio as ordered and was greeted by a hive of activity. A swarm of little girls in ballet outfits were giggling to each other and running around. Proud-looking parents were milling about and chatting with each. Finding Madame Rose was easier than I had thought. She was a British woman dressed in an outfit that had not been fashionable in decades, even in vintage shops. Darling, you're late. I expected you ages ago. Tonight is not a night to show up fashionably late or even on time. No matter, we will have to discuss things later. Now here is your uniform. The kitchen and changing room are through there. The recital starts in 30. Make sure all the guests have a glass of wine handed to them. Not the champagne, though that is for afterwards. You'll need to set up the food trays while the performance is going on. I'm working as a server? Yes, you silly girl, that's what you're here for. You speak English, of course, only a little. That simply won't do. We must sort that out and get rid of your gruff city accent. Don't worry, there will be plenty of time later to teach you English and give you a loving provincial accent. But now you're wasting time that could be better spent handing out drinks. Off with you. I was swept away and left in a fog of confusion. It didn't occur to me to argue or refuse, and I was in the black and whites handing out drinks before I even realized it. While the performance went on, I busied myself with the tasks at hand. I did my best to set up the tables. Oh wow! Critical success! Prepared several dozen glasses of champagne for the no doubt thirsty parents, and then just waited. Eventually the music ended, the parents came out accompanied by their children. On cue, I began to work my way through the crowd, handing out drinks to the patrons. Remember, a smile can be seen if no one can see your face. Your charm should convince them to have a glass even if they want to refuse. So I smiled, giving my biggest, friendliest face to the crowd. Oh, one critical, one success. As the drinks flowed, everyone became chattier and the kids wandered off all to their own area to hang out with their friends. Wonderful, darling! See that man in yellow looking out the window? Convince him to have a drink with that charming single mom in the red dress enjoying the canapes. What? Off you go now. Remember, to win people over, you must show interest in them, elicit curiosity, misdirect towards your goal, and then give them the opportunity to suggest it themselves. Again, as if by magic, I found myself agreeing and following her commands. Another glass, mister? Thanks! It Arden. It's lovely view, isn't it? I suppose it gets a little dreary after a while. We have some delicious prosciutto wrapped asparagus if you're hungry. I am hungry now that you mention it. It was kind of magic in a way, and we earned a favor because we're good with the chatty chat-chats. No sooner than the man in yellow and woman in red were in each other's proximity before they were talking in an almost giddy way. Marvelous, darling. You make a wonderful agent in no time. Those two are just perfect for each other, both excellent families. I'm sure the little seed you planted today will mature into a wonderful dancer and businesswoman in a span of years. Why, I can already think of a few wonderful bloodlines to crossbreed their progeny with. Aren't you being a bit presumptuous to assume they'll see each other again, let alone have kids? Not at all. I will of course keep a careful eye on them. One must take care to ensure things develop correctly and stamp out any potential problems. Fine husbandry is all about patience and maintenance. Is that what I'm here to learn? Forgive me, I do go on about my hobby, no. Think of me as your diction, etiquette, and acting coach. I was given precise instructions on what your sire wants for the final product. Leave everything to me, darling, and in a few years you'll be unrecognizable from the girl who walked in here today. Okay. I'm not gonna interfere with that. None of my business. I remained silent. Whatever my sire wanted me to be, I had trust it was for the best. Enough! I have no more energy to give tonight. It has been draining beyond belief organizing and attending the center of attention. You start English classes at the community college tomorrow night. No need to thank me. I am to have you Tuesdays and Wednesdays going forward. I felt myself nodding in agreement at every word. It was the same spell from earlier that just left you wanting to agree with whatever she said. Thank you, you shouldn't have. It was no trouble at all, darling. Now, are you thirsty? I'm famished. We keep a supply of young blood on hand, freely donated. I let the parents think it's precaution in case one of their little angels gets hurt. But it allows me to keep a well-stocked launder without any of the nastiness of normal bagged blood. Yep, I'm fine with drinking from children. The months continued to fly by after that. I was enrolled in community college ASL program that was surprisingly fun. I met some interesting people. Torio continued to teach me the ways of shadow. I learned how to stalk and lose a tail. Played games of hide and seek across the city, learning how to disappear in all kinds of situations. Madame Rose continued to me school in fine arts, etiquette, and elocution. At least when she didn't put me to work in her dance school or one of her ventures. Despite all appearance, the more I learned about her, the more I became to realize Madame Rose was the wealthiest person I've ever met by far. She seemed to own vast stretched up property, and yet filled her nights teaching kids dance, piano, and painting. It seemed to work though, as her students were all children of power brokers in the Montreal elite. I still hadn't seen my sire since the first night. Text messages continued to arrive from sire every month or two. They were all small tasks and sometimes strange. Replace a blue flag hanging in the shop with a red one, pick up a package and dropped it off somewhere else. Eventually they became more involved. Ended up spending a week just following a man who got off the train from Toronto everywhere he went in the city. I kept careful note of where he went, what restaurants he ate, and with whom. I recorded what his preference in strippers and prostitutes was and all manner of other things. Later I even did some light breaking and entering with Vittoria's help. I slipped into an upscale apartment, took a few photos of some documents, and then left scrunched up napkin with phone number in the pocket of a tuxedo. I proved a quick study which came as a surprise to only me. I always hated school and been uninterested in it, but it's the school of life now, honey. Perhaps it was being reborn that had changed me, or maybe it was just the first time having teachers that made it interesting. Either way, I passed my ESL course with flying colors. Madame Rose was in attendance for my graduation, clapping away like the world's proudly. As my first year as a vampire came to a close, I faced my first real test, not just with my abilities, but who I had become. My sire was waiting for me in my apartment when I returned home that night. He was sat on the ratty couch, looking like he had never left. Felt immediate elation and joy. was like great sorrow had finally been removed from one beating heart. My sire put his wrist and bade me drink. I fell unquestioning to my knees, drinking in his blessing. Easy, little one. I'm sorry it had been gone for so long. It was always my intention to return earlier, but unforeseen events kept me away longer than planned. Nothing you need to worry about, but rest assured that the little tasks you have done for me have all been of great help. How long can you stay? A few nights, a week at most. But I have an important task for you to accomplish for me. So you didn't come for me. You are my primary reason for returning, rest assured, my child, but I have associates and other members of the Penumbra that need favors to be repaid. One such is a task I have decided is best fit for you. Anything for you. A Malkavian who calls herself Saint Kiki stolen $100,000 from us. Kiki, like the one in friggin' Bloodlines Chinatown. Yes. My brain is not functioning anymore. I'm so sorry, audience. The money is not the concern, but we can't the insult stand. We can't let the insult stand. I want you to go to the Church of Wax and get Saint Kiki to leave town one way or another. Let me be clear, a few injuries are fine, but her friends will come looking for vengeance if you take things too far. Don't worry about that, I'm no killer. You will be in time. Killing a kindred, however, is never taken lightly. But enough talk of things to come. Tell me of your life. I want to hear all about what you have done and been up to since we last met. I curled up on the couch and rested my head on my sire's lap and poured out all that I wanted to say for so long. He listened, chastising me at times and praising my accomplishments at other points. We talked through the day until the sun had set again. As the evening began, I bade my sire goodbye and headed out to Church of Wax. Church of Wax was a nondescript building in a fashionable part of town that no artist could ever afford to live. It was imposing and grotesque. All the obvious windows had been bricked up and graffiti covered the front facade of the building. A bouncer stood watch by the front door. He looked like a living slab of meat, making a clear statement that if you should be inside, then you would be. I will try to talk my way in because that had worked fine so far. I would actually like my stats page because I don't actually know what I have. I will turn on my charm and pleaded like the desperate artist for a chance to get in. Ooh, 3 successes. I really shouldn't, but you seem like a sweet kid. Alright, go on in, but keep a low profile. I entered the main gallery of the Church of Wax. It had been designed to make the building look like Gothic church. There seemed to be the odd, curious-looking patron admiring the grotesque art set in tableau around the church. Each of the tableaux had a small plaque describing what its figures were supposed to be representing. I am so surprised that I can read all the hard words when I am so tired right now. Lust, greed, envy, and all the other 7 deadly sins. The exhibits were all made up of realistic wax statues, that's where my speech fails, of people, but contorted in odd angles in various states of completeness. Some had limbs removed or cubes cut out and stacked in another's hand. It was the kind of work that was either a critical masterpiece or a warped perversion depending on who you asked. I'll sneak upstairs. The upstairs library was... That is the picture that everybody uses for the basement. But you're like, this is upstairs? No, this feels like downstairs, because the stairs are going down, you see? The upstairs library was lined with books of all kinds. They seemed to have been picked less for the content, but instead for their color. The bookcases were laid out and shelved to make cute little country scenes out of each. A long dark corridor led off in one direction, its lights purposely removed or extinguished. I'll take the keyring, why not? The upstairs library had lined with books of all kinds. Yes. I'll head into the darkness? Kiki screamed and rushed out of the darkness. Her bandages slick with blood. Whether her stigmata were just performance art or real, I couldn't tell, and the world was strange enough that I didn't want to jump to a conclusion either way. Little bird, how do you sing? Have you come here for me to break your wing? Saint Kiki. It speaks and sneaks, but says nothing but noise. We didn't invite it, so it can't be here. Perhaps we should give it a little bite. It's time for you to leave. We know you stole our money. I am your one warning. Not a bird then, but a yapping puppy thinks we should be scared of it. Don't have time for this. I'll try to be sweet and convince her that it was her time to move on. And move on, not move one. 2 successes. No need to be so mean. Kiki only goes where she can be seen. Give Kiki until dawn and then she'll be gone. Okay. I wandered the halls for a few hours waiting and watching to make sure that Kiki kept her word. She packed up the supplies and had me carry them to her waiting truck for her. By the time I returned, she was nowhere to be found in gallery or library. The stench walked out the basement that was foul beyond belief. The air had thick coppery taste. With trepidation I ventured into the basement and was greeted by a sight of walls splattered with blood and flesh. Kiki stood in a circle of limbs all arranged in precision to form an angel with her standing at its heart. My final work! It's grand to see. It's you, little pup, I have to thank for giving it to me. I'm mad because I wanted to be nice. You see, I think that you should always give people at least one a chance. You should always trust people first. Because everyone deserves that. Well, I will just stand in shock as she walks away because I just wanted her out of town. The blood and horror were all around. I wept tears of blood at the realization of what I had done and the people I'd killed, even if I hadn't intended to. Searched among the corpses to see if there were any survivors. Oh, it'd be stuck now. Come on, game. You can't do this to me. You broke. You broke. You broke. I guess this is all for us, lovelies, for this is just where it ends for us. And it is absolutely the middle of the night for me, or rather it is very, very early morning, it's 7:30. I should grab some sleep before the day starts again. There are a lot of typos here, and it's unfortunate that we could never finish entirely. But it is an enjoyable experience for what it is, as long as the owner of the game can figure out the bug and fix it. I truly believe that it is a worthy work of art. So that is just what we have for tonight, folks. Thank you for joining me, and let's meet another time. Please inform me if any of you reached any endings with this game, and how did you do, because I have a feeling that with the stats and everything, there are more than one way to approach this. Night night for now.